Okay, so we are going to attempt a commentary here. So, what was the last one I did? I guess it was a couple years ago now for Caddyshack 2, and somehow that's led us to Club Paradise 2 years later. Maybe it's even 3 years at this point. I guess I'll have to look back at that video and have a look. So, I'm not sure. I actually never listened back on my Caddyshack 2 commentary. I'm kind of curious to do that now. Uh, but we'll see how this one goes. I don't really know what I'm going to have to say about this one, but I felt inspired to do this one. So let's see. I'm sure I'm going to talk about the soundtrack a lot. Uh, so this is still like another kind of pilot episode. But if it's good enough, I'll put it up online. But I'm kind of at the same time testing this whole idea out. Not that it's the most unique idea, but here we go. Okay, so hopefully it's gonna pick up the audio at least, you know. That was weird. Did you see that? And this is all part of the pilot episode testing. Like, why did that freeze up? Like my first thought is, okay, the reason it froze up is because the computer picked up that it's copywritten material, and so it's able to freeze the image every number of seconds. Uh, you think I'm kind of a conspiracy guy at times. I'm not. I actually don't believe what I was just talking about, but yeah. Anyway, Club Paradise. I'm trying to recall the first time I saw this movie. I mean, I wasn't in the theater. This one I wasn't lucky enough to have seen in the theater. I think if it had done well, that maybe my father probably would have taken me to see it, but I don't think it was in the theater for that long. It's just too bad. I get it. I get it. It's not the greatest film by any means. Uh, but I definitely have like this weird thing. It's weird because I live on an island right now, and I'm kind of feeling, even though it's not far from the mainland, but um, it's still an island nonetheless. And it does feel a little isolating in weird ways. And the reason I mention this because this movie ends up, they're vacationing on an island, and I seem to have a thing for island stuff, be it cold islands or warm islands. But now that I've actually lived on one, sort of, we'll see if I lose my interest in islands or not. Not sure. So we had this starts off with a very. This movie's mostly bright, but it starts out kind of dark here. So, uh, yeah, it's funny because I seem to gravitate towards. I mean, I guess I like most of Harold Ramis's films, but I don't mind the ones that got panned. Because this one was not well received and it didn't do well at the box office. But I enjoy it. I still enjoy it to this day. I guess it's one of those comfort films that people are into. People are into. Everyone like their has their comfort films, of course. And it's strange too because I'm not always been a big Robin Williams fan, but I always really liked him in this. And I think I liked him a lot too in Mrs. Doubtfire. And I remember being surprised that I liked that movie, but I have not seen it since. Yeah, the one time I saw it when it came out in video cassette, did not see that in the theater either. So yeah, Harold Ramis directed this one. The other panned one would be Caddyshack 2. He didn't direct that one, but he was one of the screenwriters on that. I think pretty much everyone that was involved in that film has basically disowned it. And I guess they're the vast majority of people hate it. So I gotta trust that it must be a bad film, but I enjoy it. But anyway, enough of talking about Caddyshack 2. You can go watch that video if you want to. Club Paradise. I'm actually not sure where they filmed this. Twiggy. Of course, when I saw this, I was like, 13, 14 or something. So I didn't really know who Twiggy was. And you saw that name, you're like, what the hell? What the hell is that? Twiggy? Just got a cool story. Yeah, it's interesting because I know people who, when they dislike this, they say, what an interesting and, mostly cool cast of comedians and musicians with Jimmy Cliff is in it. And, yeah, like all these SCTV people. Where did it all go wrong? I'm like, I watch this movie and I think that this movie, Mary Gross, she was on SNL. One of those fateful 80s seasons in the 80s. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, but I think that's, to me, I like this movie. So I think what helps make it a good movie is the cast. And other people say, where did it all go wrong? Because that's such a great cast. I don't know. To each their own. I've always had a big obsession with the soundtrack to this film, and I had it on cassette. It was the same thing. Actually, I probably told a similar story with Caddyshack too. That'd be funny if I go back and watch that video and I start talking about how, I have Club Paradise on cassette too. Unfortunately, actually, I think I still have the Caddyshack 2 one, but anyway, yeah, I had the soundtrack on cassette, and I was obsessed with it for the longest time, and I can't remember if I lost the cassette or just whatever happened, but then I became obsessed with getting a copy of the vinyl. This is when it was hard to find stuff. You couldn't just go online and just find anything, even used stuff, like at the click of a button, basically. But yeah, I was very obsessed with that soundtrack. I just loved it, and I still do. It's a great soundtrack. Lots of Jimmy Cliff songs. There we go. Directed by Harold Ramis. The late, great Harold Ramis. Yeah, let's look at his directorial biography here real quick. Harold Ramis. It's so funny. The first question, how Google has these it tells you questions that most likely are why people have searched his name. And the top one is, how did they bring Harold Ramis back to life? But there's no context there. So if you didn't know about the latest Ghostbusters movie, especially like older people, randomly looking up Harold Ramis. And that's what they see. How do they bring him back to life? Anyway, let's see. Yeah, let's not forget this scene here is with Peter O'Toole. He's great. I like him in these cheesy roles. He was like, yeah, I don't know what his deal was, but he did quite a few of these kind of they're not B movies, but they're B movies for studio B movies in a sense. He did quite a few of them. Although I guess Supergirl was not a B movie, or it wasn't intentionally a B movie. It kind of ended up that way, I guess. But yeah, Peter O'Toole was in that, so he had a few. But I thought he added a lot to this. I thought it was great. The other island movie that I've always been obsessed with is called Water. I think it came out in '85 in the U.S. Club Paradise came out in '86. Water came first. Uh, and I guess it would be Michael Caine kind of plays the Peter O'Toole kind of role on their island, their island movie. It's pretty funny. I'm trying to. Michael Caine is the main person in it, and it has Oh, and funny enough, it has a the woman from Supergirl in it, Brenda Vaccaro. Yeah, anyway, that's a great one, British film. Good old Club Paradise. Yeah, this is one of my favorite tunes on here, on the soundtrack. And this is the thing. I'm This is probably like considered maybe these songs, I don't really know. Maybe they're considered really cheesy reggae songs, and that's fine. I'm not an expert on reggae music, but this is kind of like I really like these songs, and they're kind of like other soundtracks from back in the day that you just kind of have a connection to. It's not necessarily a musical style necessarily. So bottom line is I'm no expert on reggae. I fully acknowledge that, and that I probably look like a complete jerk for liking these songs. I don't know. I hope so because they're damn good, damn good tunes. Yeah. So there's Robin Williams and there's Twiggy. I honestly don't know her full history. I mean, I knew she was a model from the '60s, but I don't know like what she did after that. Maybe she didn't have a lot of roles. I'm not sure. So let's see. I was looking up Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis. Let's see. He's first. He directed Caddyshack. He wrote that film. I'm not sure if where I'm looking at this, it doesn't mention if which ones he co-wrote. Um, National Lampoon's Vacation. He only directed that one. So that was written by John Hughes. And then 3 years later, oh wow! So this was the next one after Vacation. He did Club Paradise. That's very interesting. So yeah, he wrote, produced, and directed. Oh no, just wrote and directed this one. And 7 years later, yeah, but he came back strong with Groundhog Day because everybody loves that one. It's a good movie. I'm not into it like other people are. And Stewart saves his family. Jeez, Multiplicity. Analyze this. Bedazzled. Analyze that. The Ice Harvest. Year One. So yeah, it was kind of rough going, in my opinion, after after Groundhog Day. I know there's Analyze This and That though. People love those films, so I'm not one of them. So he wrote Vacation. Oh no, sorry. He wrote Animal House, Meatballs, Stripes. Yeah, this is where he was really strong. Like his directorial stuff, but he had a string of good writing there. Meatballs is great. Stripes I wasn't into, but I'm sure it's yeah, I think that's considered pretty well written. Ghostbusters, come on now. Fantastic. Back to School, Armed and Dangerous, then Caddyshack 2, and then Ghostbusters 2. I guess people would say that was a rebound compared to Caddyshack 2. But yeah. Anyway, so let's see. Let's get to Club Paradise. Set in a fictional Caribbean banana republic, right? So let's see this movie. So it was written by Harold Ramis, and directed. So he wrote this movie along with Brian Doyle Murray, and his brother, of course, is Bill Murray. It's always funny how they're like, you know, like film periods they kind of go through. Where everybody's kind of connected. They're all just kind of doing different projects and helping each other out. I think the current one, maybe not even current anymore, but the most recent, maybe current would be, with like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill and all that. That's like a whole world of Judd Apatow world. That's kind of another one. I'm sure there's other hipper ones that I'm not completely tuned into or aware of. But yeah. So yeah, the plot of this movie, it's like I don't know how many movies have been made where it's what do they call it? The slobs versus the snobs. I think that term came from a specific movie. It might have been Revenge of the Nerds, maybe. Slobs versus the slobs. No, that might have been Animal House, actually, right? Yeah, that's probably Animal House. Um, but anyway, God, there were so many, and this is doing the same thing where it's the plot is there's like a good scene, and then the big rich people and investors come in and just ruin everything so that they can make some money, and then art and culture dies ever so slowly, evolves but seems to die too. Um, yeah, and that's Brian Doyle Murray, so he's got a role in this. Yeah, looking up his career is really interesting, just to see kind of the list of everything that he's been in, because he's had his hands in a lot of stuff. Slobs versus snobs. Slobs versus snobs. Do I have that right? Yeah. So that's kind of what this is. They got their own thing. They've got this nice resort. Da da da. And they come in and it's, they try and bulldoze it over. They're gonna put in some new, a casino or something like that. So it's a local people versus the big conglomerates trying to move in and ruin another neighborhood. So there were just so many movies like that. Breaking Two, that was one of them. One of my favorite films. I'll have to do a commentary for that one, I think. I wonder how that was contractually done with Jimmy Cliff. Like, did they just want to use his music or get him to make music for the film, and then he said, "Okay, but I want to have a role in it," or maybe it went the other way around. Maybe they wanted to have him as a role, and he said, "Well, I'll do it if I can have some tunes in there." Like, I wonder how that all came together, because that's an interesting dynamic. Is that the right word? Yeah, it's just interesting that he has his music in there, because he's like not a producer on the film or anything like that. Okay, shooting took place in Jamaica, Chicago, and Los Angeles. It was a set constructed on Winifred Beach in Portland Parish. Jamaica. Bill Murray turned down the film's lead role, which eventually went to Robin Williams. His brother ended up in the cast as well. Oh, wow, and it's going to have John Cleese. So this is going to be Bill Murray and John Cleese. Huh. That certainly would have been interesting. I'm trying to like picture what the vibe would be of this. Like, were they basically trying to do Caddyshack? I guess if I mean, it was Harold Ramis and he was up for the role. Yeah, maybe that's what they were kind of thinking. Caddyshack in the Caribbean. Like that was kind of his well, actually, no, because Bill Murray was the. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm thinking. He was more the. What was that character's name? He was a little bit out there. Well, I guess they didn't want to kind of move the character over. It was just use the actor. Yeah. But that would have been interesting to, just see what Bill Murray would have brought to this role. Would have been a very different film. 'Cause his vibe and Robin Williams are quite different, I think. Even though you can kind of see some similarities in the two in some ways. But that is interesting that they filmed in Jamaica. I feel like not many films end up getting shot there. I'm sure growing up in New England too, seeing these kind of movies taking place on these Caribbean islands, and you got these funny guys. It's just you know, just relaxing and calming to watch when you're like in the middle of a New England winter or any winter. There's Andrea Martin. She was SCTV. And what's that guy's name? Shit, I can never remember. These two are such sleazeballs in this movie, but they do it. They do it well. And there's Mary Gross. She was in SNL. She was later in that movie Feds with Rebecca De Mornay, I think it was. Wait, let's see here. Okay, so we got Mary Gross. As they say, you can believe everything you read on Wikipedia. Everything. So we got the Andrea Martin. Where's Mary Gross? Why is she not listed here? Oh, wait. There it is. Okay. Mary Gross. Let's see. So this was her first film. Then she did Baby Boom, The Couch Trip, Casual Sex, Big Business. I don't remember her in that. Hot to Trot. Okay. With Bobcat Goldthwait. Then she was in Feds. And Feds also starred, Rebecca De Mornay. Feds one of those movies like you wanted to really, like. You wanted it to be good, and it just wasn't bad, but not really that good. Feds. And she did Troop Beverly Hills. And then it got to the point where she was in Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. Tourist Mom. Ooh. But then she had a couple roles in some other TV shows or movies. Mighty Wind, that's a big one. Worked up until 2012, it looks like. Hope she's doing okay. Oh, her brother's Michael Gross. Oh, that's funny. Michael Gross from... What's it called? Family Ties. That's right. What's your name? Maybe we could put on the captions on this thing, right? Should we do that? How do we do that? Forget it. I don't want to ruin this too much. I'll do it for next time. The next video will have the closed caption on. Guess that turns off the movie sound too, obviously, right? Yeah, because I'm on the same mic. Didn't want you to have to hear me drinking my caffeine-free Coca-Cola, my soda of choice. This movie, man. Isn't that sad? I know this music. I've seen this movie so many times. Yeah, comfort, 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 comfort. So, what other facts we got about this movie we can talk about? Exciting news or exciting facts about Club Paradise. And I do remember when I got the soundtrack. That was I think I got that in White Plains, New York, visiting the grandmother. Yeah, and we went to the mall. What was the mall called? The Galleria, White Plains Galleria. I think that place is still there. I don't know if it's under that same name. White Plains Galleria. Wow, it's still there. So crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at the website now for the mall where I purchased the soundtrack to the Club Paradise. That's really surreal to see that the picture or seeing pictures and seeing that it's basically the same. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Seems like it might be closed now. It's kind of hard to tell. Hmm. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I know. Or no, looking up pictures of the mall where I bought the soundtrack to Club Paradise. Yeah, okay. That's what everyone's tuning in for. Well, this is part of the test, you know? Like, what else do I have to say about Club Paradise? What does it matter? What does it matter what I have to say, especially when I'm not saying much? Andrea Martin. It's pretty cool, though, because it's like comedians helping each other out, you know? That's one thing I've noticed over the years, how the it seems like the comedian community, I mean, I'm sure there's some rivalries and stuff like that, but overall they seem to help each other out. You really see that in the podcasting world, especially now. It's really cool to see. That's how I see it. That's my perception of it. I could be I could have it totally wrong, but that's how it seems to me. Maybe we can turn this up a little bit. Mm. I love that line. Are you threatening me? Yes. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, see, to me, I watch this and I think for me, it's like this is one of his better roles because it's where he was so not doing his, I shouldn't say shtick. He kind of had a shtick in a way, I guess. But I don't think so. I think he was just kind of more performance than a shtick. Yeah. But in this, he wasn't doing that, and so that's kind of where I liked it more, I guess. So the fact that he was able to, have a different kind of performance that pulled me in. So that makes me think, okay. Multiversatile. Is that all right? A word, multiversatile? It sounds like it is, but it sounds like I'm getting the completely wrong. Multiversatile. Versatile. Multiversatile. Easy to use. Oh, no, no, no. That's someone writing on an Amazon review. So it's someone else who thinks that they're making up a word. They don't know what the real world is. They don't know what the real word is, not just the real world. Do I even know what the real world is? I guess I've kind of been in it, but also hiding from it. Cold meats. It's pretty wild, these two. All right. It's funny how they play. See how they're playing there. I turn the volume up even more, so hopefully it picks up enough so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. So the whole point is, I guess, here is that you're familiar with the movie too. Now you're just watching it again, this time with a stranger who doesn't have that much interesting to say about it, but is doing this anyway. But interestingly, why can't I hear anything now? What the heck? That was very strange. Why did that just happen? I didn't press mute, but how bizarre. I think these are the kind of technical difficulties. It's not even a difficulty. It's just me turning the volume up and down. But this is the kind of quote unquote difficulty that will more than likely happen in other episodes as well. So, Randy, she's loony. She does make the best of a situation that even she was like complaining about it the most. Actually, no, that's not true. Her husband was the one complaining about it. So crazy. So crazily, I should say. Caffeine-free Coke. Full endorsement from me. It's really good for you, too. Hardy har har. Wait, see? It did it again, didn't it? Like, why was the volume going down? I don't understand that. It's very strange. If I put the remote near the computer, it seems to turn the volume down. Let's try that again. Unsanitary. Oh, yeah, the film reunites director Ramis with most of his SCTV co-stars Andrea Martin, Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis, Joe Flaherty, and Robin Duke. Okay, so yeah, Robin Duke. What do I know her from? SNL. She was okay. She was in SNL. I'm a little uncertain who Mary Duke is as I watch this movie again. Oh, it was the final film of actor Adolf Caesar, who died in March '86, 4 months before the film's release. Oh, that's horrible. Well, I'm sure there's some jokesters out there who say it's probably best he passed before seeing this piece of shit film. Yeah, because this film was released in July 11th, 1986. Had a budget of 15 million and made 12.3 domestically, according to Wikipedia. And of course, they do a source. They have a footnote there, or source, I should say. Oh, Harold Ramis's wife, Anne Ramis, also cameos as a travel agent. Yeah, it seemed this film was very much a kind of a family affair in a sense. See if they have any information on how Ed Roboto is a pseudonym for Harry Shearer, who asked to do a rewrite. Only 2 words of what they wrote ended up in the film. Shearer later commented he was so appalled by the movie that he removed his name from the credits. Appalled. It's like, I mean, is it that bad? Come on. Film soundtrack was released by Columbia Records. It includes several tracks by Jimmy Cliff, Elvis Costello, Mighty Sparrow, Blue Rhythm Band, and Well Pleased and Satisfied, some of which are unique to this release. It was not released on compact disc until 1994 in Japan, and then in 2004 in Europe, with the latter including 7 extra songs. Peter O'Toole's performance in the film earned him a Razzie Award nomination for Worst Supporting Actor, but lost to Jerome Benton for Under the Cherry Moon. Mostly negative reviews. Ramis later said, "We thought Club Paradise had a good chance at the box office, but we were the fourth Caribbean comedy out that year, and none of them did any business. The casting ended up being diametrically opposed to what was intended. It was intended for Bill Murray and John Cleese, with Bill as the laid-back guy and Cleese as the over-the-top guy. And we ended up with Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole, with O'Toole as the laid-back guy and Robin the over-the-top guy. The polarity shifted, and it was probably not as interesting or as solid as it might have been if Bill and Cleese were there." Yeah. Ebert said the movie never really comes together, and I think the fault for that begins with Williams. When the star of a movie seems desperate enough to depend on one-liners, can the rest of the cast be blamed for losing confidence in the script? Hmm. Very, very interesting. Yeah, and I like that Joe Flaherty is the pilot in this. I think the favorite thing of his that he ever ended up doing was, at least for me, was Freaks and Geeks. He was the dad in that show, which such a great show. If you've never seen it, you must see it. It is excellent. Excuse me for the burping. Doing it again. So now I wonder when, like as I'm recording this, I do not see. I'm gonna lay over my logo. I'm gonna put it over there too. So I'll put something over it. So I'm wondering what. Yeah, I'll have to think about it so that it doesn't. Because right now when I'm doing this, it's gonna be over my face too. But who cares, right? It doesn't matter. Everything had to be so conventionally done. There were rules of doing things. Like if you want to record a TV show, you gotta follow, you gotta put things in this frame and blah 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 blah. Now it's like you just do whatever you want, which is great because then art comes out of that. You can kind of tell, like, well, I don't know how to say this, but it's like maybe it's just because I've seen this movie so many times, but I'm sitting here thinking like, is it me just because I just don't? It feels like I don't have a lot to say about this, or is it the movie? Is the movie not inspiring me to, um, or maybe it's because I've seen it so many times. I don't really know. It's a primo cannabis sativa. There's something about his character in this movie, like Eugene Levy with that hair, the suit jacket, the undershirt. And then it's those glasses. It's like there's a lot going on there with him. Uncut pure. They have no idea even what they're talking about. Not that I do, but like it's clear they don't. Uncut pure weed. Isn't that supposed to be cocaine, right? Good lord. The Governor General. Jimmy Cliff should be the oh yeah, Ernest Reed and the Flamboyants. Jimmy Cliff should have been the Governor General of this island. Bring your voice down, bro. And you'll be much better off. In the sun. What was I gonna say? That's the thing. This film needed more. I think it would have held people's attention more if they had more scenes like this. You know, when you've got these fish out of water kind of things. You know, neurotic people that are yeah, uh, fish out of water. There's just something about it. It's always so funny, especially with neurotic people. I mean, at least for me, maybe it's because I can relate to that. I mean, tons of people can relate to that, but at least for me, that's why I find that so funny. I guess that's kind of they do say that right with comedy that most comedy is tapping into that part of other people that can see themselves in you, where they can relate. Dealer. Oh man. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, so it's his hair, the glasses. Completely forgot about the necklace, and then with the low cut shirt, and then he's got those red frame glasses. Man, that is a disaster. Total disaster. The fact that they get completely just like run over, it's just a sad scene. Oh boy, Mr. Gandhi. Now, what other facts can we have here about Club Paradise? Um, any fun facts? Are any facts about Club Paradise? Can they be called fun? So when it was released, Variety said there's enough funny skits in Club Paradise to make for a good hour of SCTV, where most of the cast is from, but too few to keep this Club Med satire afloat for 104 minutes. What do they mean 104 minutes? It's not 104 minutes. They're making that movie 9 minutes longer than it is. And if that was actually the truth, that really would have been a problem. See, that's what's weird. The fact that they give it they're specifically mentioning the running time. So they're saying that's part of the problem, but then they get the running time wrong. So it's like, maybe they would say, well, it felt like 104 minutes, but still, that's a poorly written review. People magazine wrote director Harold Ramis, who co-wrote the film with Brian Doyle Murray, never stoops for an easy laugh. He seems capable, however, of making a movie with more momentum than this. Okay, we already did Roger Ebert. Dave Kerr, the Chicago Reader, wrote Moranis and Levy get most of the laughs as a pair of geeky business partners desperate on the make for beach bunnies. Williams is saddled with a lot of soggy insult humor that doesn't really let him show his gifts. Yeah, sure. So Razzie Awards, let's see, for 1986. Let's see if we can see what the nominees. Let's see if we can find out what they were for that year. Man, oh man, 1980s. 1980. So it'd probably be came out in 86, so then it would have been the 87 awards, right? Oh no, 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 no. Okay. The seventh Golden Raspberry Awards were held on March 29th, 1987 at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel to recognize the worst the movie industry had to offer. It's amazing. Okay, worst picture nominees 1986 were Howard the Duck, Under the Cherry Moon, Blue City, Cobra, and Shanghai Surprise. The top two, Howard the Duck, Under the Cherry Moon, tied as the winner. What else we got here? Worst actor, Prince took it for Under the Cherry Moon. Also nominated Emilio Estevez in Maximum Overdrive, Judd Nelson in Blue City, Sean Penn in Shanghai Surprise, Sylvester Stallone in Cobra. Madonna, Worst Actress for Shanghai. Worst Supporting Actor, Jerome Benton. He beat Peter O'Toole in Club Paradise. It's just funny to see that nomination, Peter O'Toole in Club Paradise. Oh man, it's kind of weird because that year it seemed like all the movies were kind of like the nominees were repetitive, but then they threw in Club Paradise out of nowhere. So that's kind of funny. We're supporting actress John DeLuise in drag in a haunted honeymoon. Wow. That's funny. So Don DeLuise beat beat four women for worst supporting actress. Okay, that's funny. Beat Louise Fletcher in Invaders from Mars, Zelda Rubinstein in Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, Beatrice Straight in Power, and Kristen Scott Thomas in Under the Cherry Moon. Worst director, Prince. Worst screenplay, Howard the Duck. Worst new stars, The Six Guys and Gals in the Duck Suit and Howard the Duck. Okay, that's funny. Worst original song. Oh, that's funny because no, that makes sense. Okay, worst original song is from Under the Cherry Moon. Wow, Prince. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Worst visual effects. King Kong Lives. Okay. So let's look at. So that was 1986. If we do the 1988, that's where Caddyshack 2 really got a bunch of. Yeah, there it is. There's Adolf Caesar. His last film. That's sad. See, some of his deliveries in this movie are really, really funny. I wish there were like ways of describing like types of humor and like what I'm I'm not making any sense. I mean, I know there's words for different types of humor, but it's just the way he delivers that. I always thought people were out to get me. I was always scared that people were out to get me. Now I know they were out to get me. What kind of humor is that? It's got a certain it's got a certain something to it. Peter O'Toole. Look at that. Worst actor right there. But that's the thing. Okay, maybe a bad career choice. He was the great Peter O'Toole was second in line for this role. So maybe it was a bad career choice that he took it, but I think he's fine in the movie. I mean, what is so terrible about him in this? He's doing the best he can with a so-so script. It's wild. Andrea Martin. Oh, these two guys again. He wants a big bag of weed. He's gonna be there for like a few days. So why is that scene funny to me? Because it doesn't sound like, I don't know. On its own, it's not very funny. But what's funny is that he was concerned about nude sunbathing, and not even she just had her top off, right? That's his big concern. And to get rid of that threat of getting caught having nude sunbathers on your beach. He makes it something even more outlandish. Not that nude sun it's not outlandish, but he actually makes it something else outlandish by saying a nude orgy picnic. He just makes it more over the top. That's what makes it funny to me because that means he's losing his mind. I wonder if this is going to be considered a good commentary or like one of the worst ever. Because I don't know if any of this is interest. I mean, I mostly just read stuff off of Wikipedia and saying, "Ooh, wow, cool." But I don't know. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something here. Maybe some people will like this for some weird reason. Um, I hope so. That's the goal. I just don't know. So I'm being self-deprecating. Oh my god. Like he's so just like I don't know. Is Acapulco is that place even like considered like a destination anymore? I remember that used to be kind of like a big. That was a big kind of the place, and then maybe it became Cancun. Now it's other place. I don't think Cancun's like a disaster now or something, supposedly. Or I have no idea what I'm talking about. I mean, maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's why they got those. They tried to make him look as much of a creeper as possible with those glasses, those red framed, the big glasses. That just those are wild, man. Those are coming back these days too. Maybe they've been back for a while, but I need to look up Robin Duke. I think because I still can't figure out who that is. So I need to look up a photo of her so I have an understanding of who she is in this movie. What in the hell? Oh, she's Mary Gross's friend in this, right? I think. Yeah. That's her friend, Mary Gross's friend. Okay, and they were both on SNL together. Maybe they started on SCTV like a lot of these other people. I always loved the poster to Club Paradise. I mean, you can see it behind me, um, obviously. But when you look at it up close, there was just always something really. I mean, it's these crystal clear Caribbean water, and I just love the fact that like he's in that water. I mean, obviously that's supposed to be where they are, where this island is. Um, but the fact that they tied it in with him being a fireman, so he's got the hose and the water's coming out of the hose. I just thought that was really cool. I like it. I know, real thought provoking, exciting. um, Design, I guess you would say. Yeah, real crazy, thought provoking design going on there. It's kind of one of those things where I always liked looking at the poster. It's just a nice, good poster. Ugh, I really do not like snakes, so I'm kind of looking away. Oh, this is cool. I've never seen. I'm kind of looking at an image here. I think the language is in. I think it's like Norwegian or something. Charter, Charterressen, Charterreson, Charterressen, Club Paradise. Way out. I do like that they kind of paid attention to that small little detail. The fact that they are on this island that's part of the Commonwealth of Nations, um, which means they are under the they are part or they are overseen by the monarchy. And so they had a couple, people that were clearly from, more than likely from, British or from the United Kingdom. More than likely Peter O'Toole, and then Twiggy. Um, Maybe there's another one I could be missing. I'm not so sure, but small little detail. I like that they got that right. That's what makes it such an amazing film. Oh, that's funny. So I'm looking at these photos, and you can look these up too. Obviously, right now if you want to. um, but on IMDb they have a kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a behind the scenes photo, but I guess an outtake or a, an unused photo from the shoot for this movie poster. Um, it's actually in really good quality too. It's kind of funny to see because clearly, like, everyone's just, you can tell they're all just kind of waiting around for instruction and whatever. Peter O'Toole does not look amused. He does not look happy. That's really, really funny. Maybe he was having financial problems, and that's why he was kind of doing these movies and didn't mind uh because as we have established earlier, he was not the lead choice. For that role. So yeah, there's just one outtake. Oh man, I wish there were more outtakes, but that one outtake is pretty cool. Just to see these, just to see them not happy. It's just funny, not to see them not happy, but just it's always fascinating to see those behind the scenes uh, reality shots in a sense. Yeah, it's a great poster. Great poster, great film. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Club Paradise is not a great film, but I do enjoy it. It's a good one. Andrea Martin. Now I feel like actually Andrea Martin and the husband. I think they play off each other really well. I think they were cast quite well. It's got some redeeming qualities. What do you got? Like 20 minutes left of this movie. Let's see. See if we can get through it. Could talk about the soundtrack here a little bit, right? So yeah, I almost feel kind of like as I'm doing this commentary, really got to be really have to be or pick films very wisely. This one I was always iffy on, and that's why I was like, okay, if I can get through this one, then the other films I can probably do much easier. You know, because this one it doesn't arouse passion. It's nice to have on. It's nice to be have it in the background or whatever. But it's not a movie to be passionate about. You know, and that's I kind of think where better commentaries will come out of. So yeah, I think if we can get through this one, maybe we can do some other ones. See how it goes. Be interesting to watch Caddyshack 2 again. That'll be funny. Germany, Portugal. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Mark these words. When she hits the high note, it's hilarious. Here it comes. Right here. That part cracks me up every time. America, France, Germany, Portugal, Netherlands. Oh, we were going to talk about the soundtrack, right? All right, let's see. Hot to trot. All right, let's see. We got. Dun, dun, All right, so we're gonna look up the Club Paradise soundtrack. Let's see what we got here. Discogs. That's a good place to get the correct. Okay, so I don't know if the songs are in the order that they play in the movie. I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. So the first song, yeah, no, it's not because the opening song in the album or in the film, yeah, I think is track number 2. So anyway, the first song, Jimmy Cliff, Lying Awakes. Next song, Elvis Costello and the Attractions and Jimmy Cliff, 7-Day Weekend. Jimmy Cliff, You Can't Keep a Good Man Down. Well Pleased and Satisfied with Sweetie Come From America. Did we hear that one yet? I think we did. Mighty Sparrow with Grenada. A Granada. I bet it's pronounced Granada. But usually, well, at least growing up, I always heard Grenada. I just assumed that they were that they were saying it incorrectly. Jimmy Cliff, American Plan. Jimmy Cliff, Third World People. That's a song we just heard. Love People was the name of the track from Blue Rhythm Band. And then the last two are Jimmy Cliff again, Brightest Star and Club Paradise. I'm curious how that soundtrack, I mean, I guess, probably didn't sell well. People aren't watching the movie. They're sure as hell not getting the soundtrack. But if the people who went to see it were just like, hey, man, best part of that was the soundtrack, then, yeah. God, looking at that old cassette cover now, oh, that's. I don't remember if I still own this tape. I did back then, as I said, got it at the Galleria. But yeah, it's a good soundtrack in my opinion. Oh yeah, there's the 1994 release. So this is the one they were talking about earlier. So the one in '94, it was released by Sony Records. That's pretty wild that they like there must have been a demand for it, and then they release it. That is just isn't that nuts? That's nuts. I think that's the one I own too. I think I ended up buying that one. I guess that's even more nuts, isn't it? Okay, and then in Europe in 2004, they had a version come out. Now, who put this out? Oh, sorry, this keeps coming off. CBS Records really put this out? Huh. I feel like this is the one I have too. I'll have to look. But why? CBS Records? Is that the same CBS? Like Columbia Broadcasting System? Yeah, says it's the same one. Okay, that's. I always thought that was a bootleg release, and I think I might have it. I'm not so sure, but yeah, that soundtrack. I think. Yeah. Anyway, let's get our eyes back on this movie, right? Oh, I and I win. Those boys are in trouble. You kind of hear shades of his character in Ghostbusters. What was his character's name? Is it Vinny or something? Oh no, wait, hold on. I'm thinking of that scene. I'm hearing Sigourney Weaver's voice saying, "Oh hi, Lewis," right? Not sure I remember the last name, but I at least remember Lewis. That's great. But yeah, you can kind of hear his that. Why don't you let me in? If you know what I'm talking about. It was that scene where he like runs out of his apartment building in Ghostbusters. Then he's up against the glass wall, and the yeah, he slides down the glass. As this animal's about to, I don't know, whatever he does. He doesn't eat him. Adolf Caesar. Surprised they didn't market this as Adolf Caesar's final performance. $1 a day. Give a man some dignity. Just some dignity, though. You can have dignity, but that's all you're getting. Yeah, see, that's why I did not really notice Mary Duke being in this. She doesn't really have any lines. I wonder if she did in the original script. I would think so because that's probably why she accepted this role. But maybe she was like, "Oh, if I can get paid and not have any lines, go be in Jamaica for a month or two." I guess that's I can see how that would be appealing, right? Maybe that's what was going on there. But yeah, that's why she didn't really leave a much of an impression on me, at least. So see, how many times have I seen this since 1986? I mean, sure. So how many years ago was that? That was like right, 96. It's weird thinking how in 96 this movie was only 10 years old. So anyway, 96, 2006, 2016, 7. So it's like 37 years old. I don't even remember what my point was. I was going to make a point about this movie being 37 years old. Sorry, I forgot what my point is or was going to be. Maybe it'll come back to me. Mm, yeah. An interesting fact, not about this one, but about the movie Water that I was talking about earlier, um, which came out a year prior. So this one has Jimmy Cliff. That one has, I mean, I guess there's some reggae songs in it. It's also a Caribbean island called Cascara, which I always loved. I thought that was the most beautiful name, Cascara. Still love it. Um, but yeah, no, there's definitely reggae kind of stuff in there, and whatever they call that kind of stuff, Caribbean pop. I don't know. But it also had famous musician in at the end of it, where it's George Harrison and Eric Clapton, right? Doing that song at the end, because there's like a scene where at the end of the movie it takes place at the United Nations, because like the Cascaran prime minister or somebody or something uh, gives a speech, or the Cascaran Liberation Front, the CLF. So they're uh, yeah, they do a thing at the United Nations. They give a speech towards the end of it, and then the speech kind of turns into a song, and the song is performed by, pretty sure it's George Harrison and Eric Clapton, but I'm looking it up now because I feel like I'm getting it wrong and I'd be embarrassed. Oh yeah, the character that's doing is Billy Connolly. He's Delgado Fitzhugh. Michael Caine, yeah, he's the English guy. He plays the governor, the governor general, same kind of thing. It's so funny. Oh, okay, okay. I did have it right, but I missed somebody. It's Eric Clapton, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. And I think most people don't even know of this movie. It's on the poster is amazing. It's fantastic. The guy Dynamite from Good Times, Jimmy what's his name? Not Jimmy Cliff like is singing right now, but um yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. But it's so crazy because I think George Harrison he was involved. So the production company for Water. Oh, Jimmy Walker, that was his name. Jimmy Walker was in Good Times, and then he is in this, and he plays a DJ. And Billy Connolly's in it. Yeah, Fred Gwynn from what's his Fred Gwynn from the Adams. Is that Adams Family? No, Fred Gwynn was the Munsters, right? Yeah, so he's in it. And the reggae, the kind of the top reggae musician that was in doing the soundtrack in Water was Eddie Grant, Guyanese British. I guess he wasn't just reggae, but anyway, yeah. So it's quite interesting that movie. It's kind of unheard of, but it's got names in it: Michael Caine, Brenda Vaccaro, Billy Connolly, Eric Clapton, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Eddie Grant's doing the music. Um, Yeah, that's a fun one. And I actually do like it more than Club Paradise. Club Paradise is kind of like the poor man's water to me. So if you ever get a chance, check that film out. Water, directed by Dick Clement. I feel like he directed something else that I liked as well. I feel like I'm going to talk over it. Maybe I'll talk over this so then I don't get any copyright issues with this song, especially because it seems loud. That's going to be a big part of this whole test here, you know, figuring out what. Oh, Dick Clement is still alive too. That's awesome. He's 85 years old. Yeah, so he directed Water, and then he did. Oh, wow, his next film was Vice Versa. Oh no, he wrote that one. Okay, wow, he wrote Vice Versa after writing and directing Water. That is fascinating. So who directed Vice Versa? Brian Gilbert. Don't you just love? I love going down these paths. You know. Yeah, it doesn't look like Brian Gilbert, and he did a few movies, but nothing memorable. Anyway, Vice Versa. Go back to Water. Yeah, had quite a cast. Came out January 11th, 1985. Development, casting. There's a whole history. Oh, that's really cool, actually. I should read this. There's not a lot of stuff. I don't even know how I even remembered, or I don't even remember how I, found out about that movie. And I found out about it pretty young. Because it came out in 85, January of 85. And then it was out on video in 86. So, I mean, I guess I just heard about it from the video release. Kind of seeing it in the store and being like, ooh, what's that? Big fan, big fan. Okay, so back to Club Paradise. I should pay a little bit more attention to this because we're kind of reaching the end. I hope I didn't spend too much time talking about other movies like Water. But we certainly did go over some history of this one, didn't we? And you know what's funny? Whenever I say, oh, I've seen this movie. Well, if it came out 30, that's what I was getting, my point that I was getting to earlier. If I've seen it, this came out 37 years ago, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I've probably seen it at least once a year since then. So I've seen it at least 30 times probably. Which is really weird to think. Which also says to me, because one of my favorite films is Clue, and I'm going to have to do a commentary for that one. For sure. But, oops, sorry. Oh, yeah, so now you can see, wait. Now it says Daily Ghost on my arm. So, Clue is one of my favorite films, and I have seen that so many times. So if that came out basically 37 years ago, too. It came out in 85, December of 85. So yeah, we'll say 37 again. I've definitely seen that at least 100 times. At least. It's a pivotal moment here at the end of Club Paradise, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen? Kill them all. That one woman in the back seemed to be smiling too much for being told they're about to all be killed or something. This is such a great scene. I love the bass in this. Boom, 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 boom. Peter O'Toole's totally doing this. This is probably why he wanted to be in the movie. Because he could have this one scene where he rides in on this big, beautiful horse across a beach in one of the islands of the Commonwealth. I bet that's not him right there. Right? Yeah. Get out the way. Get out the way. It's like, why is he getting seriously? Why is he getting nominated for best or worst actor? Like that, just the way he delivers that line. He knows it's ridiculous, and he's going with it. You know, I don't get why that's bad. He's not putting his heart and soul into it and saying this is the greatest performance, and it's just a total disaster and completely. See, that's the thing. That's part of what makes a role or a performance bad is when they're just not self aware and they're just I don't know they're just not in it and they're not reading the room, you know. And I think Peter O'Toole's definitely reading the room here. He's self aware. He knows it's ridiculous, and it's just a fun movie, and he plays it up. So there you go. So what's the problem? Brian Doyle Murray's always had that rough, that rough, gruff voice. Mm. It's funny. He doesn't look. Let's see, Adolf Caesar. Look him up. You know, it's funny. Maybe he's not even like that big of an actor. He has that name, and it might be the Caesar. Yeah, I think that kind of that kind of adds to it. You know, Caesar's palace, Julius Caesar. You just think, yeah. And you know what? I think that must be what it is because he was in Shay, he was in Tarzoon, Shame of the Jungle, The Hitter, Fist of Fear, A Soldier's Story. He was in The Color Purple, and then Club Paradise, and then he died. He was only in a few episodes of television. So maybe he's more of a theater guy. Academy Award, Best Supporting Actor, A Soldier's Story. Wow, okay. So when A Soldier's Story came out, then he wow, he got an that's impressive. That he got that nomination. Okay. Daytime Emmy Award, After School Special, Drama Desk Award for Soldier's Play. Okay. Golden Globe Award. Only won Ellie Film Critics. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Pretty crazy. So yeah, here's the this is the end of Club Paradise. And it'll be interesting to see once I there she is, Robin Duke, Mary Lou, didn't even know her character's name. Okay. Yeah, she really didn't have much going on in this. But I wonder how maybe I need to turn the song down, and then we won't have the chance of this being ripped down by YouTube. So this really is a big test to see. So it heard the loud part, and now it's just very quiet in the background. We'll see if their little thing picks up any of this shit. I kind of feel like they will, because they're getting so crazy. But anyway, that was Club Paradise. And I hope everyone enjoyed whatever this was. Yeah, so I got through this, then I can certainly get through other ones, right? That are movies that I'm more passionate about, other than this little piece of comfort food. So anyway, yeah, for anyone who's still watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. And if not, you can destroy it in the comments if you want to. I mean, do your thing. Do what you want, man. But anyway, that's Harold Ramis's 1986 film Club Paradise, starring Robin Williams, Peter O'Toole, Twiggy, Adolf Caesar, Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, Tim Flaherty. So many awesome people. So again, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I think that's it for now. Peace.